Come on over here. Filter through. Come on, guys. My team's a little tired. Excuse me. All right. Are we ready? All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I want to first offer my condolences to the family of Josiah and Messiah, a mother who lost her life yesterday along with her 4-month-old child. You know, each one of these officers back here have been in law enforcement for a long time, and there are some events, some cases, some incidents that follow you throughout your life. And I can tell you now, this will be one of those incidents. This is a sad day for us in the city of Hartford. This team here has worked hard to find out what happened and to identify a suspect. They have worked tirelessly, the people you see behind me. Within the last 24 hours, they have sifted through evidence. They have gone through video. They have taken witness statements. They have done so much. Why? Because they're professionals. But this also hit deep. I'm sure you all can understand that. This has hit the citizens of Hartford, the mothers and fathers, the grandparents. It has hit us all. So where are we at? Because of this team, we have secured a search warrant, arrest warrant, that is, for an individual that I'm going to ask the public to help us locate. I'm going to say this. Do not approach this individual. He is to be considered armed and dangerous. You are to contact 911 if you see this individual. Lieutenant Boisvert will give you the particulars on what he may be driving and some other particulars. But the individual's name is Lance Morales, born 6/16/2001. This individual is 23 years old. He is wanted for multiple charges with a $3 million bond. I want to say this. So his AKA also is Macho. That's his AKA. So I want to talk to Lance right now. Lance, you have no other option but to hand yourself in to the Hartford Police Department for the horrific crimes that you have done. You see, this hit the heart of Hartford. You have taken the lives of an infant and his mother. We do not tolerate that in this city. After this press conference, Lance, I want you to pick up the phone and hand yourself into this department. Because if you do not, I promise you, and I make good on my promises, that you will be apprehended, and I will use all resources to apprehend you. State, federal, and all the partners that I have. You have that promise from me. With that said, I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Boisvert, who will give you the particulars of the vehicle that he's driving and the access to many other vehicles that he has. This incident was a personal dispute that ended up in Hartford and resulted in the death of 2 individuals. We will not tolerate that in this city. We just won't. So this is Lieutenant Boisvert.
Thank you, Chief. Just to recap for everybody, last night at 2:47 p.m., afternoon rather, Hartford police officers were dispatched to Hartford Hospital on a report of multiple victims being arrived in a vehicle suffering from gunshot wounds. 20-year-old Josiah Mercado and her 4-month-old son Messiah pronounced deceased shortly thereafter at the hospital. The third victim was a male in his 20s suffering from non-life-threatening gunshot wound. The fourth individual in the vehicle, a driver, was uninjured. Patrol officers were able to locate and secure a scene in the area of 380 New Britain Avenue, which consisted of multiple shell casings. Video evidence was recovered that confirmed the victim's car was at the crime scene prior to arrival at the hospital. While reviewing the recovered video, it was observed that the suspect vehicle pulled alongside the victim's vehicle and opened fire. The suspect vehicle then fled the scene. The driver of the victim's vehicle drove to Hartford Hospital. Detectives from Major Crimes Division and Crime Scene Division responded and began an immediate investigation. As the night went on, detectives were able to develop the suspect. Detectives worked quickly, were able to gather enough information to develop probable cause for an arrest warrant. That warrant was signed this morning by a judge. This is our suspect. Okay, I'm going to send everyone a copy of this in your email. Lance Morales, date of birth June 16th, 2001, 23 years old. Last known address in Waterbury, Connecticut. Goes by the name of Macho as well. In the warrant, he is charged with criminal possession of a firearm, assault first, criminal attempt to commit assault first, 2 counts of murder, and murder with special circumstances. As the chief mentioned, he has a judge-set bond of $3 million. He was last seen driving a white Infiniti Q70 bearing Massachusetts marker plate 3NEB35. We do believe that's a misused marker plate. We believe he has access to several vehicles. As the chief mentioned, we are advising the public to call 911. If you see him, do not approach him. He's considered armed and extremely dangerous. This is a fully extraditable warrant. I would also like to acknowledge the hard work that went into this case. All the detectives behind me, the initial patrol response. These guys have been here around the clock since this happened, and they got it done. Also, we got some information from the public that was very helpful as well, and we got it done. With that, this is still an active investigation. There are still questions we have ourselves, but I'd be happy to take some questions.
Could you describe a little bit more about the dispute that led up to this? What was the nature of it? Where did it begin?
So, the motive, what we believe at this point, is a dispute over a vehicle. A vehicle.
Where did that begin?
That began, again, partly in Hartford, partly in Waterbury, Connecticut.
What is the relationship between the suspect and the victims?
Acquaintances.
Is it a possibility that the suspect has left the state?
We're looking into that again. We are actively trying to find his whereabouts. So everything is on the table.
Were the victims the intended targets?
We believe they were, yes.
What other police agencies are you working with?
Multiple. Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Does he have a previous criminal record?
He does. You can find that the same way anybody else can find it right on the website. He does have a criminal record. I think it's in Waterbury. No criminal history in Hartford. Go ahead.
The victim left Hartford to seek a better life and safer life in Springfield. Was she getting away from his family?
This has nothing to do with that. Okay. Again, a lot of questions we have ourselves. And we're still, again, actively investigating this.
What was the weapon that was used?
A firearm. A firearm. That weapon has not been recovered. That's why I'm keeping it to myself. Okay.
We were told that it may have been on.
A lot of firearms are equipped with clock switches. You've heard us talk about that. We believe it probably did have a clock switch on it. Yes.
Was the dispute with someone who was in the victim's car?
We believe the dispute was with the female. Anybody else?
All right. Well, I want to thank you all for coming out for this sad event. Again, for the public, please provide us with information if you know the whereabouts of this individual, but do not approach this individual because he's armed and dangerous. He's to be considered Again, thank you very much. That concludes our press. Thanks.